Good morning/afternoon/evening everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about something deeper than success, more lasting than power, and more influential than titles. I want to talk about building a leadership legacy. Legacy is not about what you achieve, it's about what you leave behind. It's not just the buildings you construct or the numbers you generate. It's the people you inspire, the values you instill, and the change you ignite. True leaders don't just lead for today, they lead for tomorrow. They understand that their influence can echo far beyond their time. They are intentional, consistent, and courageous. They plant seeds they may never see bloom. So how do you build such a legacy? You build it by leading with integrity, by mentoring others, by lifting people, not stepping over them, by standing firm in your values when it's easier to compromise, by creating opportunities for others to lead, by leaving systems stronger than when you found them. Your legacy is not written at your retirement party. It's written every day, in the emails you send, the decisions you make, the people you develop, and the culture you create. In the end, ask yourself not, what did I do? But who did I help become better? Because the truest test of leadership is not how far you go, it's how far you help others go. Thank you. When we think of legacy, it's easy to focus on tangible accomplishments, awards, titles, promotions, or the bottom line results we deliver. But real legacy goes far beyond these markers of personal success. It's not about how many buildings have your name on them, or how many accolades fill your resume. Legacy is ultimately about influence, the ripple effect of your actions, your values, and your leadership on others. The most enduring legacy a leader can leave isn't a monument. It's a mindset, a movement, a memory of how they made people feel and grow. People rarely remember the exact words you said in a meeting or the detailed metrics of your project, but they will always remember how you made them feel, how you treated them, and how you helped shape their own sense of purpose and direction. Think about the leaders who influenced you. Chances are, what you remember most is not their job title or what they achieved on paper. You remember their courage in tough times, their belief in your potential, their humility, and their unwavering commitment to something greater than themselves. Their influence may have helped shape your career, your character, or even your confidence. Legacy, therefore, is not confined to a single moment of glory. It is built in the quiet, consistent moments, through mentorship, through difficult conversations handled with grace, through everyday acts of encouragement and accountability. It's created in how you show up, especially when no one is watching. And the beauty of influence is this: it multiplies. When you lead with the intention of empowering others, they in turn carry your lessons forward, applying them in their own spheres of impact. Your influence travels farther than you ever could alone. That is the essence of a leadership legacy. Not what you do, but what you enable others to do long after you're gone. A leader who aims to build a lasting legacy must think beyond the here and now. While many chase short-term wins and immediate recognition, legacy-minded leaders anchor their actions in a vision that outlives their own tenure. They understand that true leadership is not about quick fixes or temporary gains. It's about laying down a foundation that can support progress and purpose well into the future. Leading with long-term vision means resisting the temptation to sacrifice enduring impact for instant gratification. It's easy to choose what's popular over what's principled or what's fast over what's foundational. But a legacy isn't built on easy decisions. It's built on intentional ones, those rooted in values, foresight, and responsibility. Every decision a leader makes today sends a message about what they believe and where they hope to lead others tomorrow. Visionary leaders invest in people, processes, and cultures, not because it guarantees immediate payoff, but because they know it cultivates lasting strength. They are architects of change, designing frameworks that allow others to thrive, even in their absence. They ask the deeper questions: what will this organization look like 5, 10, or 20 years from now? How will it serve others when I'm no longer here to guide it? What will people say about how I led, not just while I was in charge, but long after I'm gone? Such leaders take the time to mentor others, to nurture potential, and to build resilient systems. They understand that progress is a journey, and that true transformation is not always seen in quarterly results, but in generational impact. They are patient, not passive, steadfast in their commitment to excellence, even when it takes time. They prioritize sustainability over speed, depth over decoration, and meaning over metrics. When a leader is driven by long-term vision, every interaction becomes an opportunity to invest in the future. They're not just thinking about their legacy, they're actively shaping it, brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. At the core of any meaningful and lasting leadership, legacy lies one unwavering principle: integrity. Without it, no amount of intelligence, charisma, or strategic brilliance can sustain a leader's influence over time. Integrity is not just about honesty. It's about consistency between your values, your words, and your actions. It's the quiet force that builds trust, earns respect, and creates a legacy that others can believe in and follow. A leader's integrity is tested not when everything is going well, but in moments of pressure, ambiguity, and adversity. Will you do the right thing when it's inconvenient? Will you tell the truth when it's uncomfortable? Will you stand for what is right, even if it means standing alone? These are the moments that define your leadership, not just in the eyes of others, but in the mirror of your own conscience. People watch leaders more closely than they realize. Your team listens not only to what you say, but to what you tolerate. They observe how you treat others, how you handle setbacks, how you respond to criticism, and whether your actions match your stated values. When your integrity is evident, it creates a culture of accountability, safety, and transparency, conditions under which people and organizations can truly thrive. Moreover, integrity has a multiplying effect. When leaders model ethical behavior and principled decision-making, they give others permission and encouragement to do the same. This creates a ripple effect where integrity becomes embedded in the culture, not just in compliance manuals or corporate slogans. It becomes the invisible compass that guides decisions when no one is watching. Some leaders compromise their integrity for short-term gains, cutting corners, bending rules, or making decisions rooted in ego rather than ethics. And while they may achieve success in the moment, it is almost always temporary. Reputations take years to build and only seconds to destroy. A single lapse in integrity can dismantle a lifetime of credibility and overshadow a career's worth of contributions. On the other hand, a legacy built on integrity is unshakable. It stands firm through change, withstands scrutiny, and inspires loyalty. It becomes the reason people remember you not just for what you achieved, but for how you achieved it. One of the most powerful ways to build a leadership legacy is by developing future leaders. Leadership is not meant to be hoarded, it's meant to be multiplied. The true measure of a great leader is not how many followers they have, but how many leaders they cultivate. A lasting legacy is created when your influence lives on in the people you've empowered, mentored, and inspired to carry the torch forward. Many leaders focus on achieving their own goals, climbing their own ladder, and maximizing their own influence. But those who think legacy understand that their impact is only as strong as the people they invest in. They are not threatened by potential. In fact, they are drawn to it. They see leadership not as a position to protect, but as a platform to elevate others. Developing leaders requires more than just assigning tasks or delegating responsibilities. It involves intentional mentorship, taking the time to understand someone's strengths, helping them navigate their weaknesses, and creating opportunities for growth. It means challenging them when necessary, encouraging them when they doubt themselves, and celebrating them when they step into their own power. It also takes humility. Leaders who build legacies know they are not the final destination. They are a bridge for others to cross, a stepping stone for others to rise. They find joy not just in their own accomplishments, but in watching those they've mentored go further than they ever could. This is the beauty of legacy. It grows when you give it away. And it's not just about formal mentorship programs or leadership training sessions. The most impactful leadership development often happens in everyday moments, during conversations, through example, and in how you handle challenges. When emerging leaders see you remain calm under pressure, admit when you're wrong, or lead with empathy, they are learning. When you share your failures as lessons rather than hiding them, you give them permission to lead authentically. A legacy rooted in leadership development is one that continuously expands. The people you mentor go on to mentor others, and soon your influence stretches far beyond what you could ever achieve alone. You become a part of their leadership story, and through them, your legacy lives on in new ways, in new places, and in the lives of people you may never even meet. In the pursuit of success, many leaders become consumed with strategy, metrics, models, growth plans, and performance indicators. While strategy is undoubtedly important, it is not what people remember when the leader is gone. It's culture that endures. Culture is the soul of an organization. It's the unseen force that shapes behavior, influences decision making, and determines how people feel about coming to work each day. If strategy is the roadmap, culture is the vehicle that gets you there, or leaves you stranded. Legacy-driven leaders understand that culture isn't created overnight. It is built gradually through consistent actions, shared values, and meaningful interactions. Every policy you create, every conversation you have, every recognition you give or fail to give contributes to the culture. It's present in how meetings are run, how conflict is handled, how mistakes are treated, and how success is celebrated. Unlike strategy, culture is deeply human. It reflects your principles, your priorities, and your personal leadership style. It's not what you write on the wall. It's what you reinforce when no one's watching. Culture is created by what you tolerate, what you reward, and what you let slide. If you say people come first, but consistently prioritize profit over well-being, your culture will mirror that contradiction. If you preach innovation but punish failure, your culture will breed fear, not creativity. Leaders who want to build a legacy focus on embedding the right cultural values into the DNA of the organization. They don't just tell people what to do, they show them how to be. They model respect, transparency, inclusion, and accountability. They create spaces where people feel safe to speak up, take risks, and grow. They know that when culture is strong, people will thrive, and when people thrive, performance follows. Moreover, culture has a cascading effect. The way leaders treat their direct reports influences how those people treat their teams, and so on down the line. A leader's attitude, tone, and approach are reflected and magnified throughout the organization. That's why the culture you build matters so much. It doesn't just shape the present, it defines the future. And here's what sets culture apart. It can carry on your leadership long after you've left. A well-crafted strategy may be revised or replaced, but a strong values-based culture becomes self-sustaining. It becomes part of the identity of the organization and the people within it. It becomes your invisible signature, an enduring imprint of who you were and what you stood for. One of the most defining marks of a leader who is building a legacy is their ability and willingness to empower others rather than control them. Many leaders fall into the trap of micromanagement, believing that close oversight is the key to maintaining high standards or minimizing mistakes. But legacy leaders understand that real influence comes not from holding power tightly, but from sharing it wisely. Empowerment is not about letting go of responsibility. It's about trusting others with it. It means giving people ownership, decision-making authority, and the space to grow. It's about recognizing that the role of a leader is not to be the smartest person in the room, but to create a room full of people who feel confident, capable, and valued. Leaders who empower others create momentum that multiplies far beyond what any single person can achieve alone. When you empower someone, you're doing more than delegating a task. You're investing in their development. You're saying, I believe in you. I trust you to lead. I'm here to support, not to control. That belief becomes a powerful motivator. People who feel empowered tend to take more initiative, show more creativity, and feel a stronger sense of loyalty and commitment to their work and their organization. Legacy. Building leaders create systems, structures, and cultures that support empowerment at every level. They are intentional about mentorship, feedback, and skill building. They encourage questions, support innovation, and view mistakes as opportunities to learn, not as failures to punish. They make it safe to experiment, to challenge the status quo, and to lead from where you are, regardless of your title. Control, on the other hand, is rooted in fear. Fear of being irrelevant, of losing status, or of things going wrong. But fear-driven leadership may bring short-term compliance, not long-term commitment. It stifles creativity, slows growth, and causes talented people to disengage or leave altogether. Control limits what a team can become. Empowerment unleashes it. What truly distinguishes an empowering leader is their ability to put ego aside. They're not focused on being the center of attention or the only source of wisdom. They are secure enough in themselves to lift others up, to let others shine, and to celebrate wins that weren't directly their own. That kind of leadership is rare, and that's exactly why it leaves a lasting mark. Empowered people become the torchbearers of your leadership legacy. They carry your values, your vision, and your belief in them into every corner of the organization, and eventually into the world. In the journey of leadership, few qualities are as foundational and as underrated as consistency. While charisma may capture attention and bold decisions may create short-term impact, it is consistency that cements trust, earns respect, and ultimately builds a lasting legacy. Legacy is not the product of isolated acts of greatness. It is the result of repeated, reliable behavior over time. It is forged in the everyday choices a leader makes, often when no one is applauding. Consistency is the glue that binds vision to reality. It means showing up with the same level of integrity, empathy, and commitment, regardless of external circumstances. It means leading with stability during times of chaos, upholding values when pressure mounts, and treating people with respect, whether they're in the boardroom or the break room. Leaders who are consistent send a powerful message: you can count on me. This dependability builds credibility. Team members, peers, and stakeholders begin to trust not only what you say, but who you are. They don't have to guess which version of you they're going to get on a given day. That predictability creates psychological safety. People feel more comfortable sharing ideas, owning mistakes, and taking initiative when they know the response they receive will be fair, respectful, and grounded. Consistency also reinforces culture. Every time you act in alignment with your stated values, you strengthen the integrity of your leadership and of the organization. Conversely, inconsistency, saying one thing but doing another, undermines trust and dilutes culture. People notice when leaders hold others to standards they don't follow themselves. They notice when recognition is erratic, when accountability is selective, and when principles shift based on convenience. That kind of inconsistency erodes morale and blurs the path forward. Legacy-minded leaders embrace the fact that repetition is not redundancy, it's reinforcement. They know that showing up with patience, discipline, and clarity day after day is how movements are built, how people are shaped, and how values become embedded. Even when the impact isn't immediately visible, they trust the process. They don't need every action to be grand or groundbreaking. They just need to keep doing the right things over and over again. And consistency doesn't mean rigidity. It means being steady in your principles, not stuck in your method. Great leaders adapt, but they never abandon who they are. They evolve with wisdom, not impulse. They change tactics when needed but remain faithful to their mission and their people. The truth is, anyone can have a good day. Anyone can lead well when things are going their way. But those who build a legacy are the ones who lead well every day, in the big moments and the small ones alike. Their steady presence becomes their greatest influence. Their reliability becomes their reputation, and over time, their consistency becomes their legacy. In the end, building a leadership legacy is not about reaching a destination. It's about setting a direction. It's about leading with purpose, living with principle, and leaving behind something that outlasts your presence. Your legacy isn't written in a moment of triumph. It's written in the everyday choices, the quiet sacrifices, the lifted voices of those you've empowered, and the culture you've helped shape. Remember, the true measure of leadership is not found in what you take with you, but in what you leave behind. So lead boldly, serve selflessly, build intentionally, because the legacy you're creating today will be the light that guides others tomorrow.